the next President of the United States, Mr. Donald J. Trump.
Wow, what a nice group. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What a nice group. That's a big group. We're having some awfully big groups. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. In 12 days, we are going to win Ohio, and we are going to win back the White House. Believe me. A brand new poll just came out. Remington Research has us up 4 points in Ohio. Early voting is underway, so make sure you get out and vote, right? This is amazing. No matter where we go, we have these massive crowds. We just left one that was 11,000. It's been amazing, the receptivity. There's never been anything like this in this country, but you have to get out and vote because otherwise, all wasted. We're going to win. We're going to win big. I think we're going to win a lot bigger than people even understand. You know what I mean. A lot bigger. We're tired of stupidity and we're tired of incompetence, and we're going to run it properly, and that's what we want. We want to make America great again, folks. Very simple. 75% of the American people think our country is on the wrong track. Who are the other 25, just out of curiosity? Who are the 25%? We're going to fix it, and we're going to get our country back on the right track. Real change begins with immediately repealing and replacing Obamacare. What a mess. It never worked from day one. It was never destined to work. There was no way it was ever going to work. And I said before they voted, I said, that's never going to work. It has just been announced that Americans are going to experience a massive double-digit hike in Obamacare premiums, including a 116% premium hike in the great state of Arizona. Think of that. Don't worry. You're not going to be so far behind. Don't worry. It's a mess. It's a mess. It's going up at numbers like you wouldn't believe. Just so you understand, Hillary Clinton is going to double down, double up. She wants that thing. He's going to spend so much money, but you're going to spend more money. You're right. Even Bill Clinton admitted Obamacare is the craziest thing in the world. Quote, craziest thing in the world, where people wind up with their premiums doubled and their coverage cut in half. Job-killing Obamacare is just one more way the system is rigged. Hillary Clinton wants to double down on Obamacare, destroying American health care forever and destroying businesses forever, because you see what it's doing to businesses, small and big. Just this year, crooked Hillary declared that Obamacare is one of the greatest accomplishments of President Obama, of the Democratic Party, and of our country. Can you imagine? I'm just standing here saying, can you believe this? Can you imagine if that's one of your greatest accomplishments as president? And it's a disaster. And by the way, we're going to repeal it, but it's going to die of its own weight. It can't make it anyway. The insurance companies are all leaving. They're fleeing. Here in Ohio, another 5 insurance companies are dropping out of Obamacare. You'll have nobody to negotiate with, just one, maybe. And that's a tough negotiation. That means all the residents covered by plans from these companies will be getting cancellation notices very shortly. I'm sure you look forward to that. It's a catastrophic situation beyond imagination. Repealing Obamacare is one of the single most important reasons we must win on November 8th. She wants to keep it. She wants to keep it. We're going to repeal it. We're going to have a really great plan that's going to cost much less and be much better. Real change also means getting rid of the corruption in Washington. Hillary Clinton bleached and deleted 33,000 emails, lied to Congress under oath, made 13 phones disappear, some with a hammer, and then told the FBI she couldn't remember 39 times. The Clinton crew gave more than $675,000 to the wife of the deputy FBI director overseeing the investigation into Hillary's illegal server. We need to reopen the investigation. Information came out today, just a little while ago, that's more devastating than anything you've seen so far. WikiLeaks, more information, but it pertains to what they knew, and it makes all of them, they're already liars, but it confirms it for the 75th time. Hillary Clinton put the office of Secretary of State up for sale, and if she got the chance, she'd put the Oval Office up for sale also. I proposed a contract with the American voter that will end the corruption and give the government back to the people. I want the entire corrupt Washington establishment, and you know, I've been on that side, just so you understand. Life was a lot easier on that side. I didn't have to do this, but the day I announced, June, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. We had to do the right thing. The Washington establishment to hear and heed the words I'm about to say. If we win on November 8th. Okay, you ready? When we win. There's a lot of good energy in Ohio, that I can tell. You know, I worked here very early in my career, like the earliest. One of the first jobs I've ever done. I worked in Cincinnati, and it was a great success, and it gave me that confidence. You know, I had a success, and it was confidence, and I love Ohio, always have. So when we win, we are going to Washington, D.C., and we are going to drain the swamp. You know, that phrase started about a week ago, and I thought it was terrible. I didn't like it at all. I said, I don't know. I just don't like it. And now it's become one of the hottest phrases anywhere in the world, and I'm saying, I like it. That's like, did you ever see the great singers, Frank Sinatra? Some of his greatest hits, he didn't like them. But at the end, he liked them very much, right? It's what happened with Drain the Swamp. It's a great phrase, but it's true. The people like it. That's much more important. At the core of my contract is my plan to bring back our jobs. We're living through the greatest jobs theft in the history of the world. So true. Ohio has lost 1 in 4 manufacturing jobs since NAFTA, a deal signed by Bill Clinton and supported strongly by crooked Hillary. Remember, who's the one that said that? That's actually, this guy's screaming out Slick Willie. It's true. It's true. That's right. Supported strongly by Slick Willie. I think I'll make that a... Remember, every time you see a clothes factory, and before I get into this, this is too depressing, is this the most fun you'll ever have, right? Right? Being at a Trump rally. Being at a Trump rally. There's nothing better. All right, now let's get back to the clothes factories, okay? But every time you see a clothes factory, a wiped-out community here in Ohio, the Clintons were really involved because NAFTA has been such a disaster. And he signed it. New Mathers Metal closed its factory in Toledo and laid off 168 workers and shipped their jobs to Mexico, 2010. Texty Leather Corporation closed their Toledo factory and laid off 160 workers and moved their jobs to China and Canada in 2009. Honeywell Autolights factory in Fosteria, over the past 16 years, has laid off and moved at least 900 jobs to Mexico. Employees at Dixon Ticonderoga, Dixon Ticonderoga, right? Is that the name? Who the hell cares? They're gone. I mean, who cares? Maybe we'll get them back. Should we try getting them back? See, now with me, they wouldn't be able to leave. Because whatever the hell they make, when they go to Mexico and they make their product and they want to send it back over the border and they leave us with closed plants and unemployment, and Mexico gets the cash, the employment, the factories, everything, what happens is they make their product, they want to send it across. I say, no, thank you. It's a 35% tax to get your product, right? Right? 35% tax. And you know what's going to happen? If I do it early enough, they're not leaving. They're not leaving. They're not going to leave. And if they do leave, we make a lot of money as a country. That's okay. But nobody's leaving. 35%, go ahead, leave. We'll enjoy it very much. We've lost, and I say this all the time, because it's hard to believe, 70,000 factories. I thought it was a typo. I thought it was 700 or 7,000. It's 70,000 factories since China entered the World Trade Organization, another Bill and Hillary-backed disaster. Under my contract, if a company wants to fire their workers, move to Mexico or other countries, and ship their products back into the United States, as I said, we will put a 35% tax or tariff on those products, and they will not leave. They're not going to leave. Now, the politicians knew this. Some of them did. Some of them probably don't because they don't have any basic understanding of the way the system works. But a lot of them knew this, but they're controlled by special interests. You know, I'll have over $100 million invested in this campaign. Meaning, you know, if I don't win, I will consider that some of these dishonest people back here, and they are among the world's most dishonest. They are disgusting. They are among the world's most dishonest people. But believe it or not, some of them, they said this, what we have all done together, is one of the great political phenomena. Some, Bill O'Reilly, said this is the single greatest political phenomena that he's ever witnessed, right? Right? But I'll tell you what, I'll be in for over $100 million and a lot of work, a lot of energy. And they were saying, it doesn't matter. What you've done will go down in the record books and history. Because, you know, let's face it, when we started with 17 people, I wasn't exactly favored to win, right? The only people that thought I was going to win were the people that knew me, right? I have friends that went and placed bets. They said, anytime I can place a bet, 3% on Trump, I will play. I have one friend made a lot of money. But you know what? One by one, they disappeared. And now we're down to one person who's got low energy, very low energy. She goes to sleep. So look, here's the story, folks. Here's the story. Who is more low energy? Bill O'Reilly just asked me. I just did Bill O'Reilly. He's on tonight. He said, who's more low energy, Jeb Bush or Hillary Clinton? He just asked me that guy. What's the answer? Who? Huh? Who's more low energy? I don't know. Hey, and you know what I say? Doesn't matter. Ohio is at the center of American motor vehicles, and the industry is really suffering in terms of production. According to the State Development, almost 75% of all light vehicles produced in North America are made in Ohio or within 500 miles of this great state. The auto industry and its feeder industries account for over 10% of Ohio's economy. 75 of Ohio's 88 counties have at least one automotive industry business. Nearly 1 in 8 Ohio residents are either directly or indirectly employed by the auto industry. Hillary Clinton supported and lobbied for the South Korea trade agreement. You know that one. That's been another disaster. On the promise of 75,000 new jobs. Instead, her trade deal destroyed 100,000 jobs, mostly in the auto industry. And believe me, as you stand here today, your executives are negotiating deals to move businesses out of Ohio and into Mexico and other countries, because we have nobody to protect our companies and really nobody to protect our workers. Next, you got me. You got me. Believe me, I'll protect. Hillary wants the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which will kill the rest of our auto jobs and kill jobs, generally speaking, in this country. Won't be, here's the good news, it will never be as bad as NAFTA. You never thought I'd say that. NAFTA is the all-time king. There'll never be anything like it. First of all, it was defective the day it was done. You know, it's a different tax system. Theirs is a VAT tax system, right? Oh, look, there's a person clapping because only one person understands in this whole audience, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a VAT tax system. So before we even start, if we go in or they come out, we're 17% behind. Their tax is almost 17%. So we're 17. So it was a defective agreement for many years, and nobody ever fixed it. So they had this huge advantage for many years because of the tax systems. I will stop Trans-Pacific Partnership, and I will bring the auto jobs back to America and keep your remaining auto jobs in Ohio. Believe me, nobody's leaving. They may leave for a different state. Don't get angry at me. But we got to keep them in our country. We love our country, right? We will immediately begin renegotiating NAFTA, that disaster. And if we don't get the deal we want, we will terminate NAFTA and get a much better deal. All right? Believe me. You know, folks, it's got to be a two-way street, right? You know, you want some coming this way. The problem is it's a one-way highway right out. As part of our plan to bring back American jobs, we will lower taxes on our businesses from 35% down to 15%. We'll go from the highest to among the lowest. Hillary Clinton wants to raise taxes on small businesses up to 45%. What a difference. You know, what a difference this is. And just thinking to myself right now, we should just cancel the election and just give it to Trump, right? What are we even having it for? What are we having it for? Her policies are so bad. Boy, do we have a big difference. Hillary also says she wants to put coal miners out of work. Not going to happen. Stop producing shale energy in most places and place a permanent moratorium on energy development on federal lands where vast coal and shale energy and other forms of energy are located. My administration will unleash all sources of American energy, including shale, oil, natural gas, renewables, and clean coal. And we're putting the miners back to work. We will put our miners back to work, and we will put our steel workers who are under siege back to work. We will become a rich nation once again. A woman came up to me 3 months ago. She said, Mr. Trump, I love you. I'm going to vote for you. She said, but you're making a terrible mistake when you talk about making our country rich again. It doesn't sound good. I said, to me it sounds good. Why? She explained. And I understand. You know, in this world of politically correct, you're going to be rich again. We're going to make a rich country again. We need to be a rich country again. If we're going to do what we have to do in terms of infrastructure, which is a disaster. You know, we spent $6 trillion in the Middle East. We could have rebuilt our country twice. And we are now in far worse shape in the Middle East than if our presidents just went to the beach every day, right? Or, in the case of Obama, went golfing every day instead of every other day, right? See, the problem is he went every other day, so therefore the day he stayed in the White House was not good. And what about this? What about a guy who's constantly campaigning for crooked Hillary? That's all he does, right? That's all he does. He campaigns. This guy ought to be in the White House working on jobs, working on our military, working on defeating ISIS. What a terrible situation. But to be a rich country, we also must be a safe country. Hillary Clinton unleashed ISIS onto the world. The vacuum was created, and it spread into the United States. There are now 1,000 open ISIS investigations in the United States. ISIS is on a campaign of genocide against Christians in the Middle East, or what they call the Nation of the Cross. That's what they call the Nation of the Cross. Think of that. Think of that. That's the term they have for Christians. And people... Who said that over there? Let me see. Who said it? Who's the guy? Don't worry. They're going to be... I'll tell you, they are dreaming of having her win. Do you ever notice? She says, we're going to work on the tax code. We're going to work on ISIS. We're going to work on this. She's been there for 30 years. What's she been doing, right? What's she been doing? ISIS is dreaming. ISIS is dreaming of her becoming president, that I can tell you. They're crucifying, drowning, and beheading their victims. Not since medieval times have we seen what's happening. Have you ever thought you'd see this? They're throwing people off buildings and hanging their victims from meat hooks. The New York Post just published reports about ISIS crushing children to death and burning adults alive. This is what we have. This is what has been unleashed. Now Hillary wants massive immigration from the most dangerous regions of the world where ISIS operates, including a 550% increase in Syrian refugees entering our country over and above the thousands and thousands already coming here under Obama. A Trump administration is going to suspend immigration from terror-prone regions, and we will suspend the Syrian refugee program. And you know what? We'll work and we'll build safe zones in Syria. We'll do things. We'll get the Gulf states to put in the money because our country has no money. We owe $20 trillion, doubled up under Obama. And yet our roads are no good, and our tunnels and our hospitals and our bridges and our schools. So we owe all this money, and, you know, I'd like to say if we owed the money and we're in tippy-top shape, right, tippy-top, but we're not in tippy-top, we're in terrible shape. Pretty sad, pretty sad. Let me state this as clearly as I can. If I'm elected president, I am going to keep radical Islam. When I'm elected president, better get out and vote. I'm going to keep radical Islamic terrorists the hell out of our country. Believe me. Believe me. Hillary also said she wants totally open borders, meaning you don't have a country anymore. A Trump administration will also secure and defend the borders of the United States. And yes, we will build a wall. A real wall. This will be a real wall. And Mexico will pay for the wall. Thousands of Americans have been killed by illegal immigrants. And by the way, the Border Patrol agents and ICE both endorsed me. Endorsed me. First time they've ever endorsed a candidate for president. Right here in Ohio, 60-year-old Margaret Kostelnick was murdered in cold blood by an illegal immigrant. Earlier that day, her killer shot another woman in the arm while she was with her children in a nearby park. Police encountered the man more than 3 weeks before the crime spree, but federal authorities under Obama refused to take him into custody. People that knew this thug were begging that he be incarcerated. He was so dangerous. Nothing was done. Then there was the case of 90-year-old Earl Olander, a Minnesota farmer who was brutally beaten by illegal immigrants and left to bleed to death in his own house. Earl's body was found with his hands bound behind his back in duct tape and blunt force injuries to his head. His killers had criminal records a mile long, but they did not meet the Obama administration's priority for removal. Then you had the recent case of 800 people, tough ones, who were going to be deported. You saw that 3 weeks ago, right? They were going to be deported. Now, you know, if they're going to be deported from our country, they got to be trouble. What happened is there was a mistake made. And instead of deporting them, congratulations, everybody, they became United States citizens. And there was a mistake made. Instead of 800, I have a little bad news for you. Instead of 800, it was close to 1,800 people. So they became. So I then said, very strongly, then undo the error. Undo the error. And they said, we can't do that. It would not be constitutional. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? Right? I have a message for the cartels, the drug dealers, and the gang members. When I win, when? Do you understand me? Your long reign of crime and terror will come to a crashing end. We will also repeal the Obama-Clinton defense cuts and rebuild our badly depleted military where we have our greatest people. We will rebuild our army, which is the smallest since World War II, and maybe we need it more than ever before. Almost ever before. We've had some other pretty bad times, too. But we need strength. Peace through strength, right? New orders for equipment for our troops will need to come to places like Lima, Ohio, home of... I like Lima better. What do you like? Home of the Abrams tank. Is that the best tank in the world? Is it? Is it the best? And we will change our foreign policy. Hillary Clinton's policies in Iraq, in Syria, in Libya, threw the Middle East into turmoil. Now Hillary wants to start a shooting war in Syria in conflict with a nuclear-armed Russia, which could very well lead to World War III. And you see the way she talks about Putin. I mean, no wonder Putin doesn't like her and has no respect for her. You know, they're nuclear-armed. It's all right. It would be nice if we got along. If we don't, we don't. But it would be nice. But how can he get along with her? How can he get along with her? He's got no respect for her, number one. And the way she talks, it's ridiculous. I'll tell you what, honestly, if we could have a good relationship with Russia, that would be a good thing, not a bad thing. I mean, I hate to say it. Be a good thing. I don't know that that'll happen, but it'd be a good thing. One thing, I'll figure it out real fast. Do you understand that, right? I'll figure it out real fast. To all Americans, I say it's time for new leadership. We have to have new leadership. We cannot have another 4 years of Barack Obama. Cannot. Just think about what we can accomplish in the first 100 days. We're going to have the biggest tax cut since Ronald Reagan. We're going to eliminate every unnecessary job-killing regulation, provide school choice, and put an end to Common Core. Bring your education up. We're going to rebuild our military and take care of our great, great veterans. They have not been taken care of. We will support the wonderful men and women of law enforcement. Save the Second Amendment, which is under siege, and appoint justices to the United States Supreme Court who will uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. Americans are tired of being told by politicians that they have to defer their dreams to another day, but really, you and I know it's another decade or many decades away. It's like our politics are caught in a total time loop. We keep electing the same people over and over again, who keep making the same mistakes and who keep offering the same old, tired excuses. These career politicians keep telling us that things can't change, that we can't try new solutions. Not only try, the new solutions are common sense, so simple. I mean, keeping our jobs, that's going to work, folks, let me tell you. It's amazing. It's amazing that it's gone this long. But again, the special interests, the donors, they control the politicians. But I have a message for them. The future belongs to the dreamers, not the cynics and not the critics. I'm asking all Americans to join me in dreaming big, like we used to in this country. Big and bold for our future. I'm going to fight for every American of every background in every stretch of this nation. I'm going to fight for every mother who has lost her child to illegal immigration or drugs or gang violence. I am going to fight for every community in Ohio, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, and all around this nation whose jobs have been ripped out and shipped to other countries because we have people that are not capable of properly representing us. So sad. So easy and so sad. I'm going to fight for every citizen who believes that government should serve the people, not the donors and not the special interests. And I'm going to fight to bring us all together as Americans. We're living in a divided country. It's not going to be divided. We're going to love everybody like we love the people in this room. Just imagine what our country could accomplish if we started working together as one people under one God, saluting one American flag. Think about that. Once again, we will have a government of, by, and for the people. And we're going to work on our ghettos. You take a look at what's going on, where you have pockets of areas of land, where you have the inner cities, and you have so many things, so many problems, so many horrible, horrible problems. The violence, the death, the lack of education, no jobs. We're going to work with the African American community, and we're going to solve the problem of the inner city. We're going to solve the problem. We're going to solve the problem. We're going to bring back jobs to the inner cities. We're going to bring proper education, including school choice. And we're going to bring safety back. We're going to bring safety back. You can't walk out the street, you buy a loaf of bread, and you end up getting shot. So we're going to work very strongly with the African American community. And remember this, the Democrats have been talking about this for years. 50, 80, 90, 100, unbroken. We are going to solve the educational problem, the crime problem, and the jobs problem of the inner cities. And a lot of people are going to be very happy. Going to finally happen. They've been talking. They want your vote. So they come in, they get your vote, and then they get your vote 4 years later, and then they get your vote again. And at some point, people say, that's enough. They only want your vote. Hillary wants your vote, that's all. Together, we will make, all together, America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And guess what the last one is? See all those beautiful caps? We will make America great again. Thank you, Ohio. Thank you. Get out and vote. God bless you, everybody. Get out and vote. Thank you. I'm with you, the American people.